right, welcome to another episode of Barrett and Baxa Media Schmedia. Welcome, Pwiltops. We are so glad that you are with us. Steve
What are the
Barrett,
Pwiltops you don't know? We'll tell you about it.
We'll tell you what Pwiltops are. You're a Pwiltop. Steve Barrett, tell us what's coming up on the big show today.
Well, we almost had our first meltdown, Bob. I almost forgot to hit record before we started talking, which is going to be a disaster that we have one day. Whole show
Do
gets
the whole
lost
show
because of Steve. But let me tell you what is coming up on this show right here. Social media in an uproar as a restaurant CEO hides inside her Cracker Barrel. I don't know if that joke was funny at all or not, or if it was just stupid. Trucker Bob's going to weigh in on the illegal immigrant trucker who's charged with killing 3 people with a semi-truck and his worthless California CDL.
Right.
Oh, my goodness gracious, Bob. We have the Comey Taylor Swift creep show coming up. We're rolling out a Newsom news segment, and MSNBC gets to keep the Microsoft, but not the national broadcast company. We also have a special guest to tell you about who's coming up on the show this week. We're going to tell you who that is later in the show. That's a blast from our past. And someone that someone with purple hair is going to be screaming as loud as they can on this episode of the B&B as well. All that and more screw-ups by Steve coming up on Media Schmedia right now.
Welcome to Barrett and Baxa Media Schmedia. Everyone else has a podcast, why not us? Come along and join the chosen few as we mock the media and ridicule the ridiculous. Get ready as we excite the ears, irritate the eyes, and tantalize the taste buds. Okay, maybe not the taste buds, but you get the point. Let's get the party started. Here's Steve Barrett and Bob Baxa.
Okay, welcome back. Here we are at the professional show. Steve and I are professional broadcasters who don't really know what we're doing.
We have spent like $75 each making this podcast happen for all of you.
Pwiltop, people who listen to our podcast. It's called a Pwiltop. And the good thing about being a Pwiltop is if you identify as one person, you could be a person who listens to our podcast. And if you are multiple people, some of you are more than one person. You are a people who listen to our podcast. Yes. So
and we love our acronyms.
Right. We do love acronyms.
Like acronyms are the best. Like POTUS, FLOTUS, SCOTUS.
WANTH. We got WANTH. And we have a new one coming up today called
Bagabi is the best girl of Bob Baxa.
Right, and she has a statement today. And then a new one that I just invented was THIBS, which is this headline is bullshit. That's another good one. And there's lots of those.
We have a lot of acronyms. So
all right, so what do we start
with? Just like, it's just like television. See, we have all these acronyms in television. We have a PKG, which is a package. We have a VOSOP, which is a voice over sound on tape. We have just the VO, which is the voiceover. We've got everything.
And you know, it's, now that you said that, Megyn Kelly, I listen to Megyn Kelly's podcast, and she constantly says SOT 13, and I know that it means sound on tape, but I bet a lot of her listeners have no clue what SOT. They probably don't even know what she's saying. So
I made a list of all the acronyms that we use in a television newsroom one day.
Oh, really?
And just like sat there and listed them out. And I mean, there's and abbreviations like a photog.
Right.
You know,
that's true.
Anyway,
there are lots of them.
All right, well, let's get into it. The first thing we're going to talk about is this whole Cracker Barrel controversy. Dude, I didn't think this was going to be that big a deal. I mean, I saw the original posts of like, they changed the interior to like white and made it all sterile looking. And I said, okay, dumb move, but so what?
Yes.
It's huge, blowing up like crazy.
Huge. And the Bagabi and I went on our first date to Cracker Barrel in Winchester, Virginia. So the place is a very soft spot in my heart. I can still remember seeing her for the first time. Anyway, it was good. And Cracker Barrel is a good place to go on a first date because it's absolutely no pressure. There's nothing, like you don't have to worry about knowing the wine list. I mean, you're getting a hamburger and a Diet Coke. Like there's nothing to think about. So it's a good place for a first date. But this is another example of a company that does not understand their customers. Cracker Barrel, you can't get new customers. That is not happening. So just get that thought out of your mind.
So you think they should just die a slow death without changing their brand at all?
Here's how Cracker Barrel gets a new customer. There's a person who was taken to Cracker Barrel by their grandfather when they were a child, and now they are an adult. They haven't been to Cracker Barrel in 30 years, and they see one and they go, you know what? Grandpa used to always take me there. I'm going to take my grandson there for the first time, or I'm going to take my kids there. And boom, there's a new customer. You're not going to get a guy who goes, well, I was going to Nobu tonight to get sushi, but actually, now that I hear that there's a Cracker Barrel in town, I can go to Cracker Barrel instead.
Where's my David Lee Roth stream? No.
Come on, this is a good rant.
No, but I wanted to get into this. I want to show everybody something, Bob. And this is so, and to me, it still is not that big a deal. And a lot of people are complaining about the logo, that they did a stupid little logo. But I'm going to screen share while you talk. You can keep going on your rant, but I'm just going to show what the interior of these places looked like and apparently now look like.
Oh,
so
I don't think
here's just a Google search of what it used to look like. And I'll try and get this.
It's everyone knows Cracker Barrel. It's wooden tables. You got the country store when you walk in, which is always fun. Everyone loves walking through the country store. And then you go into the dining room. It has not changed since 1953. It's wooden tables. It's a wooden floor. The waitress is named Dottie, and she calls you hun. Like, it's Cracker Barrel. You don't need to change Cracker Barrel.
But the thing is, they used to have, like, wagon wheels on the walls, and, like, there's a guitar, and they would have, like, sickles and a hose and other things, parts from tractors. Now it's, like, this sort of white, like, it looks like the interior of a crappy decor store now with just a bunch of funny pictures. But they used to have, I mean, it's like they used to be a lot more creative. There's, I think, a moose back there or something.
Right.
So they had all kinds of kitschy
like
stuff everywhere, and they've kind of taken that away.
And there is a literal country store. So when you walk into a country store. You have to walk through the store to get to the hostess stand, and that's part of the, I mean, what other restaurant has
but is
a
the
country
store? Wait a second.
store?
Did they take the store away? If
I don't
they took
think
the store away, that's really stupid.
I don't think they
I want to
did,
go into one. Here's what I want to do. I want to go into one of the new ones, see what they look like. I know they changed the logo. They took the old man away. I mean, we're old men. But Bob, you and I are basically the guy sitting on the rocking chair at this point in the picture. But I think more of it is that it caused social media to dig into the corporate feel.
The CEO?
Yeah, like the corporate feel of the company. And it appears that they do want it to be a very woke company. So maybe some of it's driven by woke, maybe some of it's not driven by woke, and maybe they just have a CEO that doesn't understand like their brand and how
she's
not to
a middle-aged white
off.
woman. She's wearing black glasses. She looks exactly like you would expect the most woke possible CEO to look. She is a person who has never, ever eaten in a Cracker Barrel. Just like that Bud Light chick, the director of marketing for Bud Light, who came up with the bright idea of putting a transvestite on a can and wanted to get away from the fratty image of Bud Light. Like, that genius she doesn't drink Bud Light. And this woman who's the CEO of Cracker Barrel.
Do you think maybe they're friends, those two CEOs?
Yes, they hang out together.
They hang out together and share notes?
Correct. She has never eaten at Cracker Barrel. She goes to fancy restaurants, and the Cracker Barrel customer just wants everything to stay the same. In fact, if I was their ad agency, my tagline on the ad would be, come to Cracker Barrel, where nothing has ever changed, and we promise we will never change anything. Because that's why you come here.
I can tell you what's telling is my parents, they don't really fly anywhere, so wherever they go, they drive. And so they actually map out their route based on, like, we're stopping at this Cracker Barrel and this Cracker Barrel. And they do that. So I'm going to have to ask my father, who, like, may or I don't know what he's going to say. Dad, are you going to stop eating at Cracker Barrel when you're on the road? And
I doubt he will stop.
That will be telling. But then again, he's an 83, almost 84-year-old man.
Right.
So
it's just you're doing something that pisses off your core clientele. For what? you're not going to get new customers. That's not possible. So
I don't
you just
know that
have
you're
to forget
right about that,
that.
Bob.
I'm
You're
telling you.
now you're a marketing expert.
I'm a marketing expert.
Now you are a
just
corporate
leave
marketing
certain brands
expert.
alone, man. You're going to just piss off. I mean, this is what Jaguar did. Jaguar wanted to attract new customers, and all they succeeded in doing was destroying the brand, pissing off all their old customers.
Different. Dude, that was a completely woke rebrand. That was like nutcases in leotards of like colors that don't even exist. Like they made up new colors to put on the leotards of the people in the Jaguar ads. So that's, to me, that's far more extreme than what they've done at Cracker Barrel. But I'm interested to see like how far this goes, because I even posted on the great Bob Jordan's Facebook page that I thought this was already yesterday's news. I was like, wait a second, I heard about this a few weeks ago, but it built up to the taking. The change of the logo, I think, is what really sparked the ignited it. Right. So, all right, we're going to move on to something you'll love to talk about, but it's a serious issue, and it's so unfortunate. It's this tractor trailer crash down in Miami. Yes. And I think he's like Indian or Pakistani.
He's Indian. He's Sikh. He's Sikh. S-I-K-H. Sikh.
So, he's Sikh,
which is an Indian person.
Just did a big wide U-turn okay, this is, for people who don't know, this is the turnpike of Florida in Fort Pierce. Now, the turnpike down through Central Florida is this, it's almost like a little bit of a superhighway because there are very, very few exits, right? Right. So you can't just get off and go to the gas station. So there are like gas stations built into it. So, I mean, when you get up to speed and you put your cruise control on, you're going for 45 minutes to the next exit in some areas. And this is where this happened. So this guy decides he's just going to make a U-turn because he can't go 40 minutes between Fort Pierce and Yeehaw Junction. He could have done that. He could have done that, but he didn't want to. Done that. Right. And he turned right in front of this family and killed 3 people. Yes. So,
all right. So everyone, we all know I have a commercial driver's license. I drive an 18-wheeler. So on this topic, I know what I'm talking about. First of all, it's never a good idea to make a U-turn in a truck for this exact reason. Every trucking company has a policy of no U-turns. Now, that is a policy that, I'm not going to lie, is ignored by drivers under certain circumstances. I have made a U-turn, but here's the thing. When you're in a truck, like if you're on the Florida Turnpike in a car and you want to use that official use only, no U-turn cut through where cops usually stand, you would get into the far left shoulder, you'd zip through, and you'd come out on the far left shoulder, and then you could merge onto the highway. If you started north, now you're going south. In a semi, and this is why every company bans U-turns. Obviously, you can't do that because you have a trailer. So the only way to do it is to get to the far right side of the highway on the southbound side, swing it all the way across all the lanes of southbound.
Which is what this guy's doing. And we're going to show the video in a minute.
And then you're on all the lanes of northbound by the time you get through. And for that middle time, you're now blocking every lane of north and southbound. Right. And for this exact reason is why you don't do U-turns.
And he had a minivan coming up behind him at 75, 80 miles an hour.
And he did not look. And he just turned in front of the guy, and the guy went under his trailer and killed 3 people.
He acts like, we're going to play the video in just a moment, but this guy acts like, oh, wow, a whole minivan slid under my truck. I must have done
He looked like he had just gotten a flat tire. Like something mildly annoying. Oh, crap. I got to deal with this flat. Oh, crap. I got to deal with 3 dead bodies. This is going to be a pain in the ass. I got to deal with this now.
Okay.
Like, that was his mindset.
So I'm gonna share the screen here, and we're going to play a little bit of the story from, I think it's CBS in Miami, and a reporter who is wearing a really tight dress.
Okay. We do like that.
Lauren and Elliott, Florida Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins flew to Stockton, California today to accompany him back to Florida. Take a look at this video. You can see the Lieutenant Governor escorting Hardinger Singh onto a plane headed to Florida. Officials say he is the truck driver accused of killing 3 people from South Florida last week on the Turnpike in Fort Pierce.
At that spot, when he looks and sees the car, he was right in the middle of the U-turn. And for that moment, his trailer was blocking all lanes of the side. I think he started northbound and he finished southbound, I think. But he was blocking all the lanes. And the
other
had
driver's not in some urban area where he's kind of watching. He's out on a highway, cruising for a long time. So
we've all done it. You set the cruise control. There's not going to be anything in your way. There's not going to be someone stopping. There's certainly not going to be a truck. And you certainly don't
expect for a truck. So wait a second, Bob. So let's get to this. So this guy failed all of the English tests. Like he basically doesn't understand English. He can't read a sign, right? Right. So that's how is that? And he's an illegal immigrant with a driver's license.
Let me tell you this.
How does this happen in our world?
This has nothing to do with Donald Trump, because all the left is like, Trump's making it so non-English speakers can't get a driver's license. He's going to make freight prices go up. No, since the 1930s, it has been federal law that all commercial driver's license holders must be fluent in English. Since the almost 100 years, this law has been on the books. It has always been the case. It has nothing to do with Donald Trump. But this is another one of those laws that Democrats have ignored, and probably some Republicans along the way have ignored.
And this is how the states that aren't ignoring it are affected by the states that are ignoring it. So Florida has to deal with a driver from all the way in California who has no freaking idea how to drive a tractor trailer.
Right. And the English language thing was ignored. He was given his CDL, even though you have to take a written test. So you do have to understand how he passed that test. I have no idea. Maybe he didn't pass that test when he first got his CDL. I don't know. That hasn't come out. But this has always been the law. And again, Trump starts enforcing something that has always been on the books, and the left freaks out like Trump's only doing this because he hates foreigners.
And here's another part of the media coverage here, Bob. This is a article in who is this? This is Newsbusters. But they took a look 2 days after the crash, and ABC and NBC had given it 0 minutes of coverage.
Isn't that
no
crazy?
Coverage whatsoever. So that's pretty appalling. I mean, I don't understand how that happens.
Well, we've said this many times. The most insidious power the media have is their power to ignore.
They did just that.
A story that was not, it was very inconvenient for Democrats. Obviously, he got his CDL in California. It's what the blood of these 3 people is on Gavin Newsom's hands. Gavin Newsom should be, charged with accessory to murder for giving this guy a CDL. And then this guy was stopped. This part has not gotten a lot of attention. He was stopped for speeding in New Mexico. Now, the cop, when a cop comes up to you and you're getting a speeding ticket, there is some conversation. Like, you have to talk a little bit to the cop when you get a speeding ticket. This cop would have absolutely seen that this guy cannot speak English, and he could have been taken out of service right then and there. If you have an egregious what's the
violation?
Word I'm looking for? Violation. If you have an egregious violation,
they can pull you right then and there, especially in a tractor trailer truck, which is very dangerous. It's not like you're driving a Fiat.
The cop, I've seen this happen. The cop will have you follow behind him. He will lead you to a rest area or a truck stop. He will watch as you park the truck, and then your company has to send a new driver. It is a gigantic expense, obviously, because in some cases they might have to fly a driver in. But I've seen drivers get put out of service, and that New Mexican cop fucked up.
Should have done something about it. Well, and then the other curious thing is, how does he end up back in California? I guess he probably lives in California, so they didn't charge him on the side of the road, which I
don't
think
understand
they
why
should've.
he wasn't.
But you know what? I bet they didn't have that dash cam from his truck, so I'm sure that they subpoenaed that, and they said, okay, we're going to look at the dash cam in Florida Highway Patrol, because I don't think Florida Highway Patrol was slacking on that. They just didn't No, I mean they
But
didn't
you can
have.
see that he
they didn't
clearly
have
was
the
making-
people in the minivan saying,
Right.
"Oh, he took a U-turn right in front of us." They didn't have anybody to tell him that, so they had to use
Right.
the video of him doing it. So,
But just based on how the truck was physically located in the middle of the street and the car was
Yeah.
under it, you could see that he clearly was
yeah, but
making
he
an
could have.
illegal U-turn.
The police could have said, "Well, you lost control somehow." And,
Oh, yeah,
and
that's
he
true.
might have said that. He might have lied to him and said, "Oh, I just lost control and it was an accident."
Okay,
And then they
yeah.
said, "No, you didn't. That was intentionally."
So
turning
and then
in
he
front of
left
those
and went
people."
back to California. All right, there you go. So
All right.
this is the danger. And
Let's-
one thing real quick, Matt Walsh pointed out, we are giving people from countries that have no traffic standards. These countries have no traffic laws. If you go to like Bangladesh or
they're just
India,
driving
these
like crazy.
countries, people drive like
That's
they
where
just
people
do
are hanging
whatever.
all over the vehicles
Right.
and hanging all over the trains. They're climbing on top of the trains
Right.
to ride to the next town. Yeah.
Right.
Like,
and we're handing them a CDL to drive an 80,000-pound truck next to you and your family in your minivan.
at 80 miles an hour.
Correct.
All right. All right, let's go to what's the next thing on the list? So the Trump crime crackdown is the next thing I had listed. We're going to talk about this, not a lot, but a little bit,
Right.
because it's my belief that this one's already dying down. Like,
Yeah.
so
Well, they're still protesting it.
My thing is that the left freaks out about basically everything, and then at one point they give up the fight. So this happened in Texas, the
Right.
redistricting thing. We'll talk a little bit about that a little bit later.
Right.
But it happened in L.A. We had the L.A. riots. Everybody was going crazy. Had to send in the National Guard. Guess where
Right.
is that now? But guess what? It's still going on. It's not
Yeah.
like the Texas redistricting didn't happen, and now California is going to try and do their thing, and then that'll die down. It happened with everything. And it happened with the blue jeans controversy.
Right.
Like, no one's really talking about that now. So they flip out, they throw their fit, and it's my belief that it's like, let them throw a fit. If somebody's going to throw a fit about something, let them throw a fit. The same thing goes for the same thing goes
Like
for the
a tantrum?
Cracker Barrel thing.
Right.
If people are going to throw a fit, we'll see what happens to Cracker Barrel, right?
Right. Yeah.
We're going to see. But I was watching an interview this week with the union chief for the police there.
Right.
So this is the union, not the police department. This is the union chief. And so he is always probably saying things like, we need more officers, and our officers
Right.
need to be safer, and our officers need to
Yes.
have a backup officer. So
Yes.
he's fighting for the officers at all time. And he was saying that sometimes what his officers are telling him as the union president is that there will be like a crime. Someone will get shot in the leg, right?
Right.
And when you're living in gangbang world, man, you don't tell the police who shot you in the leg, because that's just
victim-
going to make your life miserable.
The victim
so instead
is
of
a
calling
criminal.
it a
Yes.
shooting, they'll
Correct.
call it something like a gunshot injury, which sounds
Right.
like somebody shot themselves in the leg, or a
Or
stabbing.
just an injured person.
Right.
Injured person
An
transported
injured
to the
person
hospital.
taken to the hospital. That's all they say.
Right.
And then there's no crime whatsoever if it's just an injured person taken to the hospital.
Correct. And we know that this is coming out more and more. I say at this point it's safe to say that all the crime statistics in all the Democrat cities are what's being reported is way less than what's really happening, because we see this. And I saw some lib on MSNBC said, well, maybe you can do that with burglary, but you can't do it with murders. And we saw there are ways that you can do it with dead bodies. If a person is killed in a drive-by shooting and none of the witnesses want to speak up, they'll just categorize it as an accidental death, and that will not go in as a murder. So that's how you hide a shooting victim. That's how you hide a dead body. And I mean, for example, your car is stolen at gunpoint in a carjacking. That's very different than coming out of your house in the morning and seeing that your car is gone. But both of them are car thefts. So they'll categorize the carjacking as a car theft, which is a much lower level crime and makes it seem like it's not a violent crime.
Or a threat,
Right.
threat and a car theft. So
Right.
you made a threat, so you would be charged with making a threat and stealing a car. Not a
Right.
carjacking. Not I ran up to you and said, I'm going to stab you if you don't get
don't
out of
give
your
me
car
your
and let
car.
me drive away in it.
Right.
So
Yeah. So they're changing
All right. Well,
all of these. We know that these statistics are bullshit now. We know it.
Well, it'll be interesting to see whether this this enforcement thing finds its way to Chicago next. That's where
that is the talk. There was just a lady. I sent you a tweet. Some lady tweeted a picture of her broken arm, and she said, this was captioned, "This is what advanced TDS looks like, advanced stage TDS." She said, "Trump, I just got carjacked and my arm was broken while they were stealing my car, and I still don't want your goons in Chicago." And of course, she's a white lady. There is a type of liberal like this. As she's being carjacked by a black guy, first of all, will say, "I hope you don't think I'm racist. I promise I don't have anything against black people." And then number two, she will say, "There's not a crime problem. Trump is exaggerating. Just because I'm bleeding over my phone as I post this, there's no crime problem." And that is where these people are at. They're pro-crime now. They really are.
All right, we're clanking that.
Got it.
All right, so I have a new term for gerrymandering, and it comes with a correction from last week. We were talking about Jerry Nadler's district.
Right.
And we showed a map.
Did we show the wrong map?
Well, what we showed was Jerry Nadler's district after the original 2022 districts were released by the legislature in New York. And then a court threw them out because they said, "Wow, those are ridiculous." And you remember Jerry Nadler's district looked like the Uber ride from hell through New York City. It went from Brooklyn, across a bridge, down a coastline, around a corner, across another bridge, up the west side. It was gerrymandered, but I think because it was so ridiculous, we could now call that Jerry Nadlering.
Nice. It's called the Jerry
So I
Nadler.
think from now on, whenever we discuss gerrymandering in any state, we'll just call it Jerry Nadlering.
Good idea. All right, that's a new word. Put that one in the book.
Yeah.
Very good.
All right. MSNBC is now. Well, I don't even know how to say it. They are.
Is it MS Now or
MSNOW? Because it was MSNBC, right? So it should be MSNOW.
I guess. I don't know. I think it's
MS Now. It
Now.
stands for like media stupid nobody.
Somebody said it stands for Now Only Woke. MS Now Only Woke. Which I like that one.
I think it stands for My Show's News Opinion World or something like that.
Oh, I think it's News Opinion Weather. Actually,
no,
now that you say
it's
that,
World. I think it's World. It should be News Opinion Weather would be better. Like
right, because they do weather
World.
on there.
What does MS Now stand for?
News Opinion Weather.
Nope. Here's according to AI Overview from Google.
Okay.
My Source News Opinion World. Well, that's stupid.
Okay. That is so dumb.
My Source News Opinion World.
What does that even mean?
Give me a break.
That doesn't even make sense.
Well,
yeah, that's weird.
And for people who don't know, I mean, the reason for this change is because MSNBC is currently owned by the same company as NBC, and the NBC is the same NBC as the network, which is why they get to use the Peacock, right? Which originally was Microsoft National Broadcast Network, Broadcasting Company.
Yes.
Yeah, but now they're keeping the Microsoft because they can change it to My Source, right? But they have to lose the Peacock. But CNBC gets to keep their name. Do you know why that is?
No, why?
Because CNBC used to stand for Consumer News Business Channel.
Okay.
Consumer News Business Channel. Something like that. And so the NBC wasn't the National Broadcast Company.
Okay.
So even though they're all owned by the same thing.
Regardless of what the name is, nobody's watching. Except for very dumb lives.
Speaking of nobody watching, apparently nobody's watching the CBS Evening News because they have a problem. Bob Jordan pointed it out. This is one quick quickie. We're just going to do one quickie, and then we're going to move on to something else. One quick quickie. Bob Jordan posted yesterday that Wink TV in Fort Myers, they are the CBS affiliate, I guess, aired a commercial for Tender Moments Adult Bookstore inside of the CBS Evening News. And it looked like one of these cable ads from the 90s where they just kind of had a shitty graphic. But that's how far network news has fallen.
Yeah. Wow. They're accepting adult bookstores. And let me ask you this, in 2025, who is patronizing an adult bookstore? Like, don't most people get their porn right on their phones? So you don't really need to go there to buy porn. Or you can order your porn if you want to.
I don't know, man. I stay away from that stuff, Bob.
Right. Who's going?
I wouldn't know
does an
anything
adult
about
bookstore
any
exist?
of that. Next up, Bob, we have a Joy Reid rant, and I have to re-find it because I got the wrong link in the rundown and blah, blah, blah. No. So people are going to have to listen to you or I talk for a moment while I try and find Joy Reid. But they're always funny rants. She's absolutely a nutcase. And by the way, I've been seeing online like a lot of little ads that say that Joy Reid, Stephen Colbert, and Rachel Maddow are trying to make their own network. And from what I can find, I think it's I think it's BS.
I would watch that.
I don't believe God is that cruel. But in a way, I'm thinking the way you could justify saying that, Donald Trump is the physical embodiment of all of America's sins.
I agree completely.
Right? He's sloppy. He's unkempt. Everything about him is false. His hair is a pretense of non-baldness. He's old, but his followers try to pretend that he looks like Superman. He's a terrible businessman and a failure who gets to fake success because he's white, so banks keep lending him money even when he's failing. His father scoops money out of his siblings' inheritance to give him when he fails. He's a fuck up, but he's able to.
Okay, she's so
full
of shit, and she's so angry. Like nobody
really
thinks that he's Superman. Everybody knows he's a pretty out of shape guy that's pretty good at golf. But
he's an old guy. He looks ridiculous with his hair.
But they're so triggered when somebody makes an AI version of him, all muscular and marching down the street with an eagle. You know.
And let's just, as far as the business thing, he clearly did not grow up penniless. He grew up very rich. His father owned a construction company that was worth tens of millions of dollars. Tens of millions.
In the 70s, 60s and 70s.
That company never built outside of Queens. So his father had a very successful Queens-based construction company worth several dozen millions of dollars. Mm-hmm. Trump took that and turned it into a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate that builds buildings all over the world. So how does that, and yes, he had casinos that failed in Atlantic City where everything fails. It's a horrible city. So how does that mean Trump is a failure at business? I've never understood that thing.
It's TDS, which I've come to think is actually a real thing now. Trump derangement syndrome. At first, I thought it was a funny way of talking about people who are nuts or nutty about it. But now I think it's really something that gets ingrained in people's heads and they can't get rid of it. Here's a good example. The story recently, and this was basically a conviction this week of a man who got in an argument over Trump's bankruptcies and stabbed his friend. Or no, it was like they had met at a party or something like that.
No, I actually thought it was his roommate. He stabbed his roommate.
Oh, okay. Was it his roommate?
Trump. Yeah, I think it was his roommate. And he stabbed his roommate because of a disagreement on Trump. And I 100% believe this could happen, that people are this mad about Trump. And, you know, Bob Jordan's explanation that, well, they're mad because he's a con man, that's bullshit. This hatred that they have for Trump, it's pathological. I truly don't know exactly why they hate him this much. It's really bizarre. I mean, you got people in D.C. that are now in favor of crime. They want crime because Trump is anti-crime.
So this guy's name was Donald.
Unbelievable.
This guy's name was Donald James Brown Henry. So his middle name is James Brown.
Nice.
One word, James Brown.
Right.
I mean, I wonder if his family loved James Brown.
I guess so.
I don't know, but he killed a man named Sean Popp in DeSoto County, Florida. So,
right, another Florida man story.
Yeah, you've got Florida man and TDS. So you have TDS in Florida.
That is good.
But
I believe
convicted, I don't understand this. Florida law requires him to serve at least 16 years and 9 months in prison without the possibility of parole.
Huh. How about that?
So his sentence must be longer than that. I can't see how long it is, but that seems like not right for stabbing someone to death over whether Trump was bankrupt or not. And what was weird is the Trump supporter was actually wrong, that he was trying to say Trump never went bankrupt. That's not true.
Yes, Trump
and this
has
guy
gone
got
bankrupt.
mad. But
Right.
still, even if you're wrong in the argument, you don't get stabbed. We don't just
No, you
stab
should
people
not.
who are wrong in the argument.
You should not stab you. And
No
I mean,
stabbing. We have on the list the Viking cheerleaders.
This is a funny one. I don't know. I mean, it's funny because the thing that I wanted to point out is they keep saying that these two are historic. The Vikings have two gay guys as cheerleaders, and we all have seen college football. College football has a ton. There's usually half men,
They're
half
lifting
women.
them in the air.
But
and
the
they're-
men are doing the lifts, and
Right.
they're clearly being men. They're there. It's almost like gymnastics. It's like doubles gymnastics is
Right.
what college cheerleading is.
But-
This is not that. This is two flaming gay guys who are dancing exactly the same way as the women,
Right.
doing a woman's dance. And first of all, I don't know who is this supposed to be appealing to, because I would argue that even, first of all, heterosexual men don't want to see this. And I would argue that gay men would rather see the muscular college type cheerleader.
Yeah.
So I don't even think this appeals to gay men. It
But
doesn't appeal
another
to straight
interesting
women.
thing is, though, I was
Who does it
watching the
appeal to?
Dallas Cowboys cheerleader thing with my wife, the documentary. And
Right.
like the choreographer, if I remember correctly, the choreographer is a guy, and he does the choreography
Oh, yeah, I believe that.
for them, like
Yeah.
one of the main choreographers.
This is the thing I wrote down.
I'm sure they have
the
men,
Vikings. The Vikings say that their two gay guys are historic and groundbreaking, while at the exact same time saying it's no big deal. Why are you guys freaking out? So,
which is it?
Vikings, is it historic or is it no big deal? You're the ones who said it's a super big deal that it's historic.
I want to
But
see how
then
this
when
thing plays out, because it goes one of two ways. Either everybody kind of forgets about it, and then suddenly there are gay guys in football cheerleading clubs, or they get the message at Vikings headquarters and they go, okay, let's just go back to pretty women, because it's
I
not
put
even
this-
like they don't even have a cool outfit. They're just like in
No.
a pair of shorts and a t-shirt.
Right.
Like it's like at least put
And
them in
there's-
something entertaining.
On a scale
looking.
of 1 to 5 Tim Wallses, they're like 5 Tim Wallses
Tim
as
Wallses?
far as how flamingly gay they are. Yes, they're
So
flaming.
10 is Tim Walz himself.
Correct.
5 being
These guys-
half the way to Tim
Right.
Walz.
So these guys are 8. These guys are an 8 on
Okay.
that scale. 8 Tim Walls. But again, it's just it's like Cracker Barrel. The NFL is not. Who are you appealing to, NFL? Why do you think you need these gay guys?
Yeah.
Like, what is it that this is going to accomplish? And the answer is, it's just because we have to say, we included gay guys in our cheerleading thing.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
there you
here's something this week that I think has already been flushed down the memory hole, and that
Right.
is Trump having his civil penalties thrown out in
Oh,
court.
yeah.
So that big $370 million or whatever it was,
Right. I think it's $450
lawsuit
now with,
over
interest.
like mortgage fraud, it was thrown out.
Right.
They said that
Right.
was excessive and so on and so forth, and it's
Correct.
gone. So,
Yep.
but I think that's going to get
big win for
ignored
Trump.
and forgotten. It
Yeah,
always
that'll-
does.
that-
When they always, it's always, like when the convictions get thrown out,
Right.
it will be ignored. And
right. It's
he'll
certainly
just-
not going to get the coverage
Yeah.
that it got when it was going on.
and he'll go down as a convict. The media
Right.
also angry over Melania. How dare you write a letter to Vladimir
Yeah, I
Putin?
saw that. I don't know why this is a big deal. I didn't see the letter.
Yeah.
Like what was in the letter.
She was talking about
Seems
the
like a
children.
non-story.
Stop killing children, and you
Okay.
need to end this war. I
Right.
mean, I don't know. It doesn't bother me that she sent the letter,
No.
but I don't know
fine
that
with
it's going to help. I mean, I don't think Vladimir Putin's going to go.
No,
"Oh,
he's
well,
not listening
Since
to
Trump's
Melania."
wife, yeah.
Well,
All
they
right.
call her a prostitute anyway, so.
All right, we're getting
So
ready
that-
for the break coming up, but I want to
Okay.
remind everybody to subscribe and like us and comment and interact with us. I put up one of my first Cool Things videos, which
Oh.
I thought was pretty good. It was about familysearch.org and a good place to
Nice.
research your family history. And apparently Bagabbi has some Barrett blood running through her. So
Yes, the
did I
Bagabbi
find
is
that out?
related.
The Bagabbi is related. Yeah.
The best girl of Bob Baxa has apparently discovered that somewhere in her past there is a Barrett. So,
And
the
we're
best
putting up a
girl
lot
and
of what
Steve.
we call Trucker Bob shorts. That's
Correct.
you.
I did a rant about food
ranting
stamps.
About
Yes.
food stamps. We're putting that up, and we're going to be doing a lot more of that. So you'll want to subscribe.
Yeah.
So if you want to see Barrett and Baxa in shorter forms, or when you're just chilling out at the doctor's office waiting for them to call your name, you could just watch one of our
That's a good
shorts,
idea.
and they're as funny or sometimes serious. Like they're not all
Right.
funny. We're not always
And
funny.
Trucker Bob is trying. Trucker Bob is, see, this guy, Bob Bax, is kind of a douche, but Trucker Bob is a lot more thoughtful and serious because he's a trucker. He has to take life a little bit more seriously. So,
And
Trucker Bob is
consumes media. I don't think people
Yes.
realize you are probably the primary consumer of media for the Barrett and Baxa podcast.
I did start
Like
listening to the. I'm very proud. I started listening to The Daily, which is a leftist podcast. It's actually the #1 podcast, New York Times, by far. And I started listening. They pissed me off, of course. We could talk
of
about
course they
that when we come back from the break. But yes, I do consume a lot of stuff, so you
Yeah.
don't have to.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right, coming up, we're going to go to a mid-show break here, but coming up, we're going to have Creepy Comey. I hope you saw this.
Right.
And
Yes, I did, of
that
course.
Newsom News segment that I told you about. News about
good.
Gavin Newsom. Newsom News.
You're listening to Barrett and Baxa, Media Schmedia. Real stories, raw takes, and the slow, strange death of traditional media.
Bob, I don't know if you noticed, I got a Greg Gutfeld
I
type
see.
shirt. It's very terry clothy and kind of
You look
odd
very
colored.
professional,
And,
yes.
Yeah, but his
With your
usually
gray hair, you're very distinguished.
Gutfeld took it to a new level. Like I liked being on air and like looking sloppy, but
Right.
Gutfeld's like this. His
He's
shirt's
always-
like
yeah.
his shirt's like over here, and
Right.
he's
Yeah,
just
what's
like
that all about?
he's sitting like he like somehow he had a mild stroke.
I
You
see
know, have
that.
you ever noticed
Yeah,
that?
I do.
Yeah,
he
does
always
that all
sits
the time.
hunched
He's
over.
always got a goofy look on his face.
Yes.
Anyway,
He
on with
trashes
the
Jessica.
show here, buddy.
right.
I want to say one thing about what's coming up. Blaine Tollison is coming up on the
Nice.
show.
Love
Blaine
Blaine.
Tollison. He had a front line to Florida Man history in Daytona
Yes.
Beach, Florida, where they have an excessive version of Florida Man called Daytona
they
Man,
do.
or
Yeah.
sometimes referred to as
He's a
Volusia
great
Man.
reporter. One of the best reporters out there,
Yep,
for
and
sure.
and anchor. He was an anchor at
Right.
a television station in North Carolina in Charlotte, and he's
Right.
great. And he was also on the front lines of Mike Chitwood, which is a great
Love
thing.
that guy.
Like crazy Mike Chitwood.
With
He's the
his Philly
Volusia
accent.
County sheriff, and he used to
Right.
be the Daytona Beach police chief. And
Right.
he's like Grady Judd. And I think that we
Yes.
should make some shorts like the best of Grady Judd and the best
That
of
would be
Mike
good.
Chitwood. That would be good. We'll try and
My
get those
best
up.
girl saw a TikTok, and it was Grady. It was Grady Judd, and she goes, "Have you ever heard of this guy?" I was like, "That's Grady
Everybody
Judd.
knows.
Of course, I know
Of
Grady
course we
Judd.
know Grady
Grady
Judd.
Judd will shoot you if you look at someone the wrong way in Polk County. You will, and he'll make it clear that you will get shot in Polk County. And Mike Chitwood's the same way. They're
Yeah.
not politically correct, which is why we love them. They
Yep.
tell it the way it is.
Yep. All right.
They're good.
Speaking of your best girl, I
Yeah.
guess we have a statement of some kind from
Yes.
the office of Bagapi, which is
And I'm not even. I'm going to get in further trouble for even sharing this statement because she
Great.
made it clear that I wasn't supposed to say anything
Okay.
about this. But last week I said I was talking. We were talking about women. I think we were talking about Nancy having a leg brace that matches
Matched.
her outfit.
Right.
So I said that my best girl is not really like that. She's not super
Except for
worried
the
about
glasses thing.
That
She
sort of
can't-
thing.
doesn't want her
Except
glasses.
she always takes her glasses off for pictures, which I implied correctly that this was a vanity thing. But I have been notified by the office of the Bagabi, this is not a vanity thing. It's because of the glare. She's very
the
worried.
glare.
She's worried about the glare on the glasses. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, that sounds like bullshit to me, you're probably right. But just so we are all very clear, the Bagabi's
go along
office
with
has
it.
put out
There's-
a statement.
Look, this is one of
She
those where
takes
there's
off her
no harm in
glasses.
going along with it. No
Right.
harm at all
So,
in
let me
just
see.
going along with
There
it.
is some glare.
There's some
I
glare.
guess there's glare, yeah. But I don't think that glare exists necessarily when you're outdoors, but maybe it does. So
Anyway.
the best girl, she's not vain at all. She only takes her glasses off because of the glare. So I have cleared up that situation. Yeah.
All right. Well, my best girl, my wife,
Yes.
I've got a little something from her. So this morning we saw on TV this turtle, Peanut. Have you seen Peanut?
No, who's
Peanut is a turtle that's shaped like a peanut, and it's
Really?
because there was like some sort of a piece of
Oh.
plastic wrapped around the turtle as
And
it
it
grew
messed up
up.
his shell,
And it messed
yeah.
up her shell.
I do
I guess
know
it's
about
female
that.
turtle.
Okay.
And now, but then we're watching, and I'm like, oh, poor thing. And then they do a wide shot. And this poor turtle had to grow up like this, and now is in like a 24 by 12 aquarium all alone, sitting there doing nothing.
That sucks.
So my wife decided that it's up to me now to save the turtle. Like I have to save Peanut because my wife thinks that I have a podcast now, so I can change anything. Like I can make changes. Like if she wants more marshmallows added to the cereal. Steve, you should do something about how there aren't enough marshmallows in this cereal. People need to know.
The peanut thing reminds me, did you ever get to fly over SeaWorld in Sky Witness? Have you ever flown over? All right.
Yep.
If you ever, Tilikum, which is that killer whale that killed the lady, his tank, a goldfish in your house.
Gets a better
based
tank.
on the goldfish has more room than Tilikum, the killer whale. His tank at SeaWorld it looks like it's not bigger than his body. Like
it's like living in a bathtub all your life.
Correct, and no wonder he was pissed.
Or maybe a hot tub. Maybe you get a hot tub.
No wonder Tilikum was pissed. And every time I would fly over Tilikum in Sky Witness, I would think, God, this freaking poor thing has no room. Goldfish have more room in their goldfish bowl in your house. I promise you, based on a percentage of their size, Tilikum has less room than the goldfish in your house.
And if we can't do anything about that, what am I supposed to do about Peanut the turtle? I told my wife, I'm like, I can't. She said, put it on the podcast. Do it on the podcast. I said, what's that going to do? It's going to have zero effect on anything at all.
Someone will find out, maybe.
No,
I don't know.
Someone will find out. And
free
Peanut.
All right.
Free Peanut.
So, that's our good deed for the day.
All right, let's move on to Taylor Swift and creepy Comey. Jim Comey. I saw this video and I couldn't believe. I thought to myself, this guy was running our FBI for years.
I thought it had to be
before he
fake.
was the head of the FBI, he was very high up in the FBI.
Correct. Yeah, I thought it was fake.
It's
so weird that it had to be fake, but it's apparently real. It is real. It's not apparently real.
If you don't know what we're talking about, you're living under a rock.
Right.
I don't mean to insult you, but this is crazy. Let me show it to you.
And then we got to comment on just everything about it. We got to comment on.
Yeah, we can do a pause. Feel free to tell me to pause.
All right. First of all, before you even start, I have to comment, to set this up, James Comey, for some reason, thought it was a good idea to make a video extolling the wonders of Taylor Swift. He's a huge Taylor Swift fan, and he wanted to tell everyone that he's a Taylor Swift fan. But he positioned himself in front of like a cement wall. Like, dude, where are you standing? Are you in a basement? Are you in not even a garage?
It looks like it's an airport bathroom or something.
It's not even,
or maybe a stairwell.
It looks
stairwell
like a
of
bunker.
a parking garage.
It's that's what it looks like. He's against the wall of a parking garage in the stairwell. Like I can't even think of anywhere else that would have a plain
let's
cement
watch
wall.
it and if you're on YouTube,
so
hopefully
weird.
you can see what we're talking about. Otherwise, just listen.
Right.
Last week's cold turns out to have been COVID, quite a flashback. And Donald Trump is still president and still humiliating America on a national stage, standing next to Vladimir Putin. It's like a dream, a bad dream you can't wake up from. But I don't want to talk about that bad dream this week. I want to talk about a truly inspirational public figure named Taylor Swift. Of course, I watched her podcast interview with the Kelsey brothers. Of course, I watched the whole thing, although on YouTube, Patrice and I got kicked off for the last 15 minutes and finished it on her phone. But I watched it. You see, Taylor Swift and I go way back. I went to my first concert of hers 15 years ago. I've been to a second, and I have helped financially support the attendance of a lot of family members at others. I'm in a family's Swiftie group chat. I know all her music, and I listen to it in my headphones when I cut the grass. So yes, I have a favorite of hers, although honestly for me it's a tie between All Too Well, 10-minute version, and Exile featuring Bon Iver. Taylor Swift has grown up with my family and provided us a soundtrack, really, as we've grown ourselves and learned and adapted and dealt with adversity and celebration. She had songs for all of it. I suspect that's something that millions of Americans have also experienced in their families. Members at others.
Stop right
I'm
there.
in a family.
So he's
gotta-
buying everybody a
Listen,
ticket.
hang on.
He's buying everybody
know.
tickets to Taylor Swift.
Right, but the way he says it, I've helped financially support. It would be like you saying, you know, when my daughter Julia was growing up, I helped financially support her food consumption.
Yeah.
You mean you bought the food for the house? Like,
I helped
dude,
financially support Hyundai by buying her a car for college.
You bought your daughter a ticket to a concert. That's how normal people speak. The normal person would say, yeah, when my daughter was young, I used to buy her tickets to Taylor Swift concerts. Who says, I have financially supported the attendance at the Taylor Swift concert? You sound like a robot, dude. Like, you're so weird. Does he know how humans talk? I wonder.
I don't think
does.
he knows. Like, he's the most socially awkward guy I've ever seen.
So weird.
All right,
God.
here, let's continue.
I know all her music and I listen to it in my headphones when I cut the grass. So yes, I have a favorite of hers, although honestly for me it's a tie between All Too Well, 10-minute version, and Exile featuring Bon Iver.
What?
Dude,
Taylor-
it's so he knows her music so well that he
named a
knows
couple
the
of
10-minute
songs.
version versus the 4-minute version.
Right. Now let me ask you: does he really know those songs, or did someone tell him those names? Like, I don't even know if this is real.
I think he's seriously this
He's
much
really
of a creep.
this
He is
big of a
creeping
fan.
on Taylor Swift, and I bet Taylor Swift watched that video, and I bet the Kelsey brothers told her, we are going to protect you from that man because he
this guy.
probably is driving by the house right now.
He's so awkward, and the backdrop keeps getting weirder because it's like, dude, why are you standing in front of a cement wall? Like, can't you at least walk around or something? It's
Yeah,
so-
spin around in your chair like I do in my
anything,
videos.
yeah.
By the way, my wife told me I'm not. She doesn't want me spinning in my chair when I do
Why
videos,
not?
but everybody else
Oh my
told me
God.
it was cool. So
I
I'm gonna
love when
spin
you
in my
do that.
freaking
Yeah,
chair if I
keep doing
want to.
that. She doesn't know what she's talking about.
Yeah, she doesn't know what she's talking.
We love her, but
All right.
she should-
I
she's
think
no expert.
I think Creepy Comey, what he's trying to do is he's trying to get on the Kelsey Brothers podcast so that he can be relevant. Because I think he's
that it?
afraid that he's not relevant anymore and he's like a joke.
Right.
Like he's
Right.
become the butt of a joke.
Right. And of course, he has to talk about Trump because even though this is supposed to be a feel good thing about Taylor Swift, he can't speak without first insulting Trump. Like, every topic has to go to Trump with these people.
Mm-hmm.
He really does. He is another Trump derangement person. Yeah, this is really, really weird.
Yeah.
So
and
strange.
speaking of Trump derangement more, Gavin Newsom has gotten worse with it, man. He's now
Yes.
imitating Trump in like
Yes,
another
yes.
very creepy way.
It's very strange. He has a comms team that's tweeting out in the style of Trump, which I say just shows that Trump lives in your head, and
Yeah.
he's trying to sound like Trump. Everyone who tries this, the Republican candidates, if you remember back in 2015, when like Jeb Bush and when Ted Cruz was running, all those guys were running against Trump. They tried this for a while where they tried to be
out-insult him?
Yeah. It
Yeah.
doesn't work. Only Trump is Trump. Just this whole fake
unique
authenticity thing is really lame.
Which is one of the things I like about J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance is laid back and he's normal, everyday
Yes.
politician sort of sounding guy. He's not going to
Yes.
say anything provocative. He's not going to insult somebody in some weird way. And hopefully, and Rubio's the same way. So hopefully if we get Trump or if we get Rubio or J.D. Vance next, they'll take us back to the age of a normal, politician.
Yes,
But
and I'm glad you brought that up because J.D. Vance is great. He's very unique because he will get all the MAGA vote because he's super loyal to Trump, and he does say the right things to keep the Trump people. But he's never going to call a woman a fat pig. He's never going to say that disgusting dog, Rosie O'Donnell. He would never do that. So he doesn't have the bad things about Trump, while also keeping the good about Trump. So that's why I think J.D. Vance is a formidable candidate. He really does have the best of both worlds.
So before we move on to something you taught me that I didn't know about Gavin Newsom while we're doing Newsom News, is that so he's been imitating him on X with all caps and saying things like, "Oh, our California district map is the most beautiful map. It's the most beautiful thing ever," and he tries to do it, but he doesn't quite get there.
No.
But one thing he
It's
did
just
apparently
cringy.
imitate Trump on was the wife cheating thing.
Cheating on his wife.
Yeah, he did. I didn't know this. I didn't know that. And I'm going to read what it says out of Wikipedia right now because I've got it right in front of me. Newsom had an affair with his secretary, Ruby Rippy Tork, the wife of his campaign manager and good friend.
Right.
So he's having an affair with his campaign manager, his wife. On January 31, 2007, Newsom's campaign manager and former deputy chief of staff Alex Turk resigned after confronting Newsom over the sexual affair that the mayor had with his wife in 2005. So he, I think, had it while he was mayor of San Francisco.
Correct.
But back to a funny name. Apparently, she changed her name from Ruby Rippy Tork because that's a really funny name. So she now is called Ruby Rippy Giffney.
Rippy Giffney. That's hard
Ruby
to say.
Rippy Giffney.
Yeah, so another douchey thing about Gavin Newsom. I mean,
Do you even care to hear his apology on TikTok or not?
Not really.
Not really. Okay, we're going to move on. We're going to move on.
Got it.
So, what about solving homelessness forever is what we are going to play, though, because I love this.
This is Gavin, right?
See, this is what TikTok and Facebook and the Reels and everything can do better than anybody else, is that they can go back and find things that you forget about. So the video that you're about to watch is basically Gavin Newsom throughout the years, and it starts with a graphic that says 2008, and then the next time you hear him, it's 2009, and then 2010, and it keeps going through the years as he talks about how good he is going to be at solving
in the future.
In the future. He is going to be starting
good.
in 2008, he is going to be fantastic at solving homelessness.
Any day now, he's going to start being good.
Any moment now. Like I think while we're recording this, he is doing it. So let me just play with it. When we start, like I said, 2008, this is Gavin Newsom. All the way through like today.
Nice.
What we call a 10-year plan to end chronic homelessness in San Francisco.
How are you going to solve homelessness? What are you going to do as a new mayor? And I say, well, what are you going to do?
Focus on a housing first model, direct access to housing.
Shelter, solve sleep, housing with wraparound and support services, solve homelessness. Homelessness absolutely can be solved.
Laid out a detailed homeless strategy. There's been no intentionality on homelessness in the state for decades. It's not been a focus.
I don't think we can solve homelessness. I know we can solve homelessness. We will reduce street homelessness quickly and humanely through emergency action.
The highest investment the state's ever made is $1 billion on homelessness. We are poised to pass a budget in the next few hours that will provide $12 billion of investments. I can literally quantify 58,000 people that we got off the streets last year, and none of you would believe it.
The state has not made progress in the last 2 decades as it relates to homelessness. Why?
Well, those were 2 years apart, those two. He said we got 58,000 people off the street. And then he said the state's made no progress in the last, 1 year later. So that brings us all the way up to 2023 with Gavin Newsom, still saying I'm going to solve the problem of homelessness.
It's very, and this is the thing, this is what Trump is showing, that these things are not complicated. First of all, there are laws on the books right now. You're not allowed to set up a campsite on a street. Every city in the country has these laws. You can't go camping on the sidewalk. There's laws. So you go down to where there's all the homeless people and you tell them, you have options. We want to help you. We're going to get you into a shelter. If you have a drug problem, we're going to get you into rehab. If you are mentally ill, we're going to get you into a treatment facility. What your option that you don't have is you're not allowed to camp on the street. So normal law-abiding citizens have to step over a man defecating outside of their business that they're just trying to run.
And Bob, it takes us back to the whole idea of immigration, because you're wearing the alligator Alcatraz shirt right now. We wouldn't have to spend. What if we didn't have to spend the money on alligator Alcatraz and we could build a homeless shelter somewhere in Central Florida instead? Right. And instead of flooding the streets with more homeless people in the form of illegal immigrants who can't afford a place to live, you see what I'm saying? We're housing them instead of taking care of our homeless people. So correct. It just Gavin Newsom is we'll let all of these other people in. We'll give them all the services, but forget about the people who are on the streets right now.
Correct.
Let's just
we
let
don't
them
have
bring
to
them
tolerate
drugs
this.
to do all day long.
And we're allowing people to say, no, I don't want to take those options. I want to live here on the street and panhandle during the day until I have enough money to buy a bottle. Then I'm going to drink the bottle until I pass out. I'm going to pass out right here on the sidewalk. When I wake up, I'm going to take a dump on the sidewalk. I'm going to go back to panhandling, and I'm just going to do that cycle. And we say, all right, well, if that's what you want to do, what can we possibly do about
There's
it?
nothing
and
it's always there's nothing we can do.
Right.
Congress has to pass a law. Congress has to change the law. Bob,
there's laws
nothing
already. Correct. There's laws already. We give them the options, or your other option is to go to jail because you're breaking the law. So take your pick. You're not allowed to live on the sidewalk. I'm sorry. If you really want to live outdoors, you have to go off into the wilderness and live outdoors in Alaska or something. But we're not going to let you live outdoors on our busy city streets, where normal law-abiding people are trying
we
to
built
live.
the sidewalk for people to walk on, not for people to live on. That's what the sidewalk is for.
Right. You can't take your child when there's needles and
we stopped
feces.
urinating in the streets many decades ago.
That's illegal. You're not allowed to pee in the street.
Not even horses. the horses still can, I guess.
All these things are already against the law. We just have to have the political will to do it. And this is what Trump's doing. And this infuriates the left. And
he's doing it with crime now, which is sort of the homeless thing, too. So
yeah, I
hope it all works. All right.
It's working. I think it is working.
All right. You want to hear some word salad from Kamala Harris? This is what.
Always.
So I think you texted it to me, but it's the best word salad. Like of all the word salads from Kamala Harris,
that's saying a lot. You sure?
It's the best word salad, and I'm only saying this because we're going to talk about her supposedly being drunk talking about Texas in just a moment. But Kamala Harris, the best word salad ever.
I have been fortunate and blessed to, during the course of being vice president, have many situations where it becomes clear to me that there are, people of every age and gender, by the way, who see something about being the first that lets them know they don't need to be limited by other people's limited understanding of who can do what.
I have a limited understanding of you being able to do anything at all.
Right. What was she trying to say?
I don't know.
She gets caught in her own syntax, and she can't get out, and she realizes, if I try to get out of this sentence, it's going to be grammatical nightmare, and I think it's scary. Then she gets nervous. She doesn't know how to get out, and she's trapped in her own sentence. That's what happened there. She got trapped.
Yeah, and people are saying that she got trapped in this sentence, too. Let me play you another one. This is just recently, and she's talking about the Texas redistricting.
She's the gift that keeps on giving.
Love her.
God bless her.
Nothing like Kamala Harris.
No.
Nothing better. Title of this one is Kamala drunk?
Yeah, the answer is probably.
I think what they're doing is they're cheating. I think they're cheating. They want to change the current system to make it bend toward the outcome they want. And so, if you believe the public reporting, they get a call that says, hey, redo your lines, even though the fallout is going to include exactly what you said, which is, taking the franchise, the vote, away from specific communities. And in the case of Texas, Latino and Black voters. Yeah. And diluting their votes.
She is funny, man. I don't know what the hell she's talking
people are
about.
saying that she's drunk.
Yeah, she might have been. She could easily have
I
been.
say that I don't think she was drunk.
Or
I
just
think she
dumb.
had a good buzz. I think she was at
Not
that
exactly
good
drunk.
buzz moment where you think you know kind of everything.
Oh,
and
yeah,
people
where you
are
think you're
super
profound.
interested in what you're saying,
Right,
but yet you're still just floating around in your sentence and not really going anywhere.
That could be it.
You just a few words and then a few other words and then a few other words.
Right.
The gift that keeps
I know
on giving.
I know that part of the night very well. I've been there.
That part, and that's the part of the night that comes before you get kicked out of a restaurant.
Oh yes, that's
the-
a good segue. Let's go to
part.
let's go to
It's
this.
like Kamala wasn't quite ready to get kicked out.
No,
Yeah.
she would not have been kicked out. At that
But
point.
she has something in common with this next woman is that they were both attorney generals. Kamala was an attorney general, and then this woman that we're about to show you.
This woman's an assistant attorney general.
Yeah, so if you haven't
seen... She
seen...
was misrepresenting herself.
Okay, so if you haven't seen this video, kind of, Bob, describe what, like, how it starts.
When we come into the video, where the police are already there, we are outside a restaurant. The police are there. We're watching police body cam, and the police are talking to two women who are very obnoxious. Clearly, they've been drinking. There are some men, clearly part of their party, but a little bit more in the background. And the cop is simply telling the woman, look, the restaurant has trespassed you. You have to leave. And the important thing to realize, if she had said, oh, I didn't know they trespassed me. Okay, well, bye. And walked away, there'd be no video.
She would have
a
career.
The cop wanted her to leave. The cop was saying, please just leave. And so that's where we're at here.
We'll talk about, we're going to play quite a bit of this, Bob, and I'll just let you riff on it.
Okay.
Manipulated footage released by Newport Police Department and obtained by Access Hollywood, law enforcement officers arrive at Clark Cook House in Newport on August 14th, where Special Assistant Attorney General Devin Hogan Flanagan and her friend Veronica Hannon had been asked to leave. Upon seeing police, Hogan Flanagan asks officers to turn their body camera off, insisting that it's protocol.
I want you to turn your body cam off. Protocol is that you turn it off. If a citizen requests it to turn it off, she's a lawyer.
So they want you guys to leave?
Yes, we're gonna leave.
Let's just leave. Let's just make it easy, okay?
We're gonna make it easy. That's not.
I am. Okay. I'm her husband.
That's not the point. Can you look at me?
Yeah, we'll talk over here, okay?
Your protocol is.
Can we all talk? Can we all talk? We'll talk over here. They want you to leave.
Your protocol is.
Can we talk? Who is she to you?
What's that?
Who is she to you?
Nothing.
She is our college friend. Okay. She's a friend. Yes.
All right, let me go forward a little bit here.
It's unclear why the restaurant wanted the pair out or how long.
I'm an AG. I'm an AG.
Good for you. I don't give a shit. Let's go. We're going. Let's go. We're leaving. We're leaving.
Please don't put your hands on us.
Can you get your children out of here? Like, I don't know why.
I'm sorry, what?
Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go.
They're two full-grown women and mothers. All right.
That's the AG. She gives up pretty easily, right? Right. But then we're going to pass forward to the other one.
Meanwhile,
the friend.
Get your feet in the car. I'm right here. Get your feet in the car. Get your feet in the car.
Dan!
Hey, I'm right here.
No! Dave! Dave! No!
Get your feet in the car.
Who the f***?
Get your feet in the car. You're a grown adult. You're acting like a kid.
Dan! Dan! No!
Babe, I'm right here. Dan she's going to divorce Dan because Dan should have, what was he going to do? Grab a gun, tase the cops?
Right.
You know.
But can we just talk about police having body cams? We've talked about this before. Mm-hmm. The reason that police were forced to get body cams is because of the whole BLM thing. It started because of George Floyd, and the theory was...
Well, it started before George Floyd. Body cams have been around.
The theory was that cops are violating people's rights so much that we need to catch these bad cops doing this. And what time and time and time again... The body cam shows that far from doing too much, the cop was way, way too lenient. Like, we see that cops have the patience of Job, the shit that they have to put up with drunk people. And time again, you see that a cop could have punched someone and didn't.
And didn't do it.
We always
they could have broken her leg, but didn't. You know, they were trying very hard. But what I love is that she's yelling for her husband, and he's like, "Babe, I'm here. Babe, I'm right here. Babe, I'm right here."
That's
going to be a meme.
Babe, I'm right here.
Somebody's going to make a meme.
Let's talk about, you're in a restaurant. First of all, restaurants.
Yeah, what happened before the police even came?
Right.
Yep.
Restaurants don't call the police on people. There's a couple of reasons. If you're at a table and you got 4 people at a table, there's a couple of reasons why the restaurant might want you to leave. Either, first of all, The restaurant is super busy. You're kind of just sitting around. You haven't ordered anything in 20 minutes or 40 minutes, and they need your table. So the manager in this situation, we've all seen this happen. The manager comes over. He says, hey, guys, you know, you haven't ordered anything in quite a while. We're very busy. You can see the line right there. Yep. We need this table. So if you guys are done eating, please, we need you to pay your bill and go. Now, at that point, you can say, you know what? We're going to order a whole nother round of steaks. At which point, the guy will say, okay, cool.
Fantastic.
You're eating more food? Waitress, bring them more food, and you'll be fine. Or you can say, all right, you're right, we're done. Let's pay the bill. You leave. There's no cop being called, all right? What do you have to say to them, Matt? And then the other way is that...
you're being obnoxious. You're getting too drunk and you're being obnoxious. Right. Yeah.
The manager, again, comes over and says, guys, you're getting way too drunk. We're cutting you off. So you can't have more drinks. Since you can't have more drinks, we're just going to go ahead and ask you guys to pay this bill, wrap it up, and go. Again, if you say, oh, I'm so sorry, we didn't know we were being loud, pay your bill and leave. No cops. In order for the cops to get called, you have to tell the manager to go fuck himself when he asks you politely, because the manager doesn't want police at his restaurant. He just wants you to leave. Yeah. So they had to say no to the manager, and I guarantee they did not say no once. They probably didn't say no 5 times.
And I bet she was telling the manager that she was an AG.
I'm an AG. You can't.
I'm an AG.
Yes, the rules are you have to give a
And you could tell that husband was so freaking sick of him. He was like, oh, these two drunk idiots. It's her college roommate who I can't stand because she always says she's a fucking AG.
Right. She was probably quoting like the innkeeper law of 1782 from Rhode Island. Right. When a person is drinking, you must give them at least a 17-minute notice before you kick them out. She probably was quoting all the laws. And then again, when the cops came, they said one of the funniest parts of this is the cop said, listen, you've been trespassed. They want you to leave. And she goes, no. In order to be officially trespassed, you have to be notified by someone. And he's like, what did I just say? I just told you.
I just notified you.
Yeah, that was your notification. You're trespassed. Get out. And all they had to do was leave. And so I have not heard an update on her job. I don't know what's going on with her job. It'll be funny
she's
to
been
find
suspended. I think it's with pay pending further investigation. But she's going to be fired. Good for her.
I would hope.
She's fired. All right, Bob, I did something, might be a fireable offense, but I added something to the rundown after you looked at it, so you have no idea it's coming up. And it's a new segment it was a genius segment, and you sent me something. I don't know why we haven't thought of it before, but this is Media Schmedia, right? So we should be making fun of the media. What better way to make fun of the media than to go back in history and find the best freaking media bloopers of all times, and every once in a while play them. And so we're going to call this Blooper Time.
Okay.
So it's Blooper Time. And
is this the one I sent you today?
This is the one you sent me today.
Okay. This is a really good one.
It made me laugh out loud. Like, and not like texting LOL to you, but I mean physically like laugh.
And let me do a quick setup, because on a lot of media, we've all seen when a newscaster, like there's a famous one where it was a story about the trucking company JB Hunt. And the anchor said the CEO of JB Cunt. And I mean, she was like, I mean JB Hunt. Now that's a blooper. We see what happened. It was a simple,
not necessarily
slip of the
funny.
Tongue.
Right.
It's not, she made a mistake.
We've seen
it's
the weather.
funny.
We've seen the weatherman draw a penis accidentally, like multiple times.
Right. It's funny because you know where the problem was. Now on this one, I challenge you to tell me.
How could this have happened?
How did this happen? Yeah, this is a good one.
All right, here we go.
Right after the break, we're going to interview Eric Weihenmayer, who climbed the highest mountain in the world, Mount Everest. But he's gay. He's blind. So we'll hear about that coming up.
Okay, as we head to the break.
Pause there. This is a blind guy who climbed Mount Everest. Okay.
And somehow
she was supposed to say, but he's blind, and she said, but he's gay. How does that happen?
Right.
What was she think? I mean, was she thinking of her
that
gay
have
friend
been?
that's blind?
Yeah, does she have a gay blind friend?
Maybe.
Yeah, the video, if you saw it, was clearly like from the VHS era. So that's an old one.
It's from 2001.
Oh,
from
man.
what I understand.
That is a classic. So that's the new segment. We're just going to do blooper time. So every once in a while, we'll come up with a really, really good blooper. But we promise we won't do the stupid ones, because you watch these blooper compilations, and like 3 out of 15 are somewhat funny.
We should do the gay weatherman versus cockroach. That's a famous one.
You know, the one that we
used
should
to work with that guy.
And yeah, and we also should maybe do Gustavo Almodovar.
Gustavo
Almodovar.
He's a very nice reporter that Steve and I worked with. And there is a very famous compilation of him saying his own name.
Almodovar. All right. Moving on. We're moving to quickies. John Bolton, his house got raided. I don't know what's going to come of this, but John Bolton, of course, has been a big critic of Donald Trump after he left the first Trump administration. But maybe he's got some of those classified documents sitting around that he's not supposed to have.
And they're screaming about retaliation. I'm absolutely fine with retaliation. You guys made our candidate sit in a courtroom on a completely bogus charge. You guys retaliated against Trump, and so now we are finding people who broke the law and we are arresting them. And if that's retaliation, so be it. I don't care. I want every single lawbreaker who did lawfare against Trump, if they did something illegal, I want them arrested, I want them charged, and I want them doing actual prison time, whether you call it retaliation or not.
Okay. All right, yep. Obama, the Presidential Center. We got some new pictures of it, I guess, this week. I'm going to show them to you, and we can talk about. And look, this is not an Obama thing, dude. I don't have big problems with Obama, and I'm not trying to just make fun of it because it's Obama's center. But it looks like one of those towers inside of, in the city that's like a. It's like a giant air conditioner. Have you ever seen those?
Yes.
Like you see them like all over. I know Orlando's got them everywhere. And it's basically the air conditioning unit for a bunch of high-rise buildings. That's what it looks like. Or like part loofah sponge.
And it has to, those air conditioning things, they're mostly like they have to be technically a certain way. So you really can't make them look very beautiful. So they got to be an odd shape. Yeah. They have to be weird shape. They try to make it look all right. But this thing is supposed to be a presidential library. I assume that they set out to get an architect to make it look good. And this is what it looks like. And
they didn't do a very
good job. The other
job.
thing, he did not put it in the black neighborhood. He put it in a very, very wealthy neighborhood of Chicago. So
is he getting criticism for that?
Yes, he is.
Huh.
He could have put it in the black neighborhood and got some building going there.
All right, the Royal Borough of Greenwich in southeast London has a new recommendation. They're saying that people should not use the term husband and wife when referring to a married couple, that they should use something more like partners.
Yes, Carrie Barrett sent us this.
Or
England
spouses.
has fallen. Yeah, England has fallen.
Yeah, it has fallen. Yep.
They are criminalizing speech. They in another story, a guy was arrested for WhatsApp messages. Like, England is now sending police to your house. Yeah, they sent
like 6 people to his house, to that guy's house.
They will arrest you for something you posted online. Like, that is an arrestable offense. If you do a hate crime online, the police will be showing up at your house to arrest you. It's really chilling. And I mean, this is supposed to be our ally in Europe. I mean, if they no longer have free speech, how are they even an ally?
All right.
I don't know.
Well, we told you at the top of the show we'd get to the color purple, and we're going to do it a couple of times, and we're not talking about the purple one prince. We're talking about people with... This woman doesn't have purple hair, but she's wearing a purple shirt. That's good enough. Good enough for me.
Right.
But she has a problem with capitalism. Let me show you.
Okay.
Getting crushed by capitalism is like so cringe, but... it's like, it's happening to me. And like, I got a PhD from Berkeley, and like, I can't get a job to save my life. Like, I got a soil biology PhD, and like, now I'm a tutor and a babysitter and a dog sitter. And like part of that is because like I don't want to like move to some random place in the middle of nowhere.
Okay, that's where I wanted to get to because your PhD is in soil biology. Do you want to live in downtown San Francisco? Because that's not where the soil is, honey. Didn't they teach you that?
Go somewhere that has soil in order to use your soil.
She's getting a PhD in soil biology? And what do you get? How many jobs are out there for soil biology?
Not many, and some of them are probably like in Africa or something where you're like doing mining and stuff. Like you're not going to be able to live, like you said, in the city and be a soil biologist. So yes, that was another.
She spent all
poor
that
choice.
time,
Yeah,
and it's Berkeley. Like, hey, don't you realize you're going to have to be working with farmers and stuff if you're going to do soil biology?
You're going to be working with the people you hate.
Yeah, you're going to be right in the middle of the United States working with people that you hate to do soil biology. All right, coming up.
Don't they help farmers know like what to plant and stuff? Like,
Yeah,
I think you're going to be living in Nebraska, probably.
I mean, I suppose it can be used in mining. It can be used in farming.
Again, near a mine. You're going to have to move somewhere.
near the soil. You're going to have to go to the soil, sweetheart.
And you're going to get dirty, actually.
Your purple sweater is going to get dirty. All right, let's move from purple to purple.
Okay.
So we're going purple shirt, purple sweater to purple hair and screaming. This woman is more upset than the other one.
Oh.
Yeah. Who was being crushed by capitalism.
Right.
I will continue screaming. Would you like that? Because I'm actually finding it really, really relaxing.
Well, why don't you explain to me why what I'm doing is
wrong? They all do that. They're into screaming. That's a pretty common thing on the internet, is when you ask leftists why you're out here protesting, and then they just start screaming. That is a very common one.
You know, and I have to play something again.
kooky.
Again, a correction from last week. We told you that we would talk to you about another degree that no one can understand. This one is a degree in decolonizing academia.
Oh, right.
I'm Scout. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm an interdisciplinary major at UBC. I'm in my last semester. My primary thematic focus is decolonizing academia and public knowledge systems. And
what is your major? Decolonizing academia in public knowledge systems.
Yes.
So, yeah. But I do love Scout. I wish Scout was like my little sister.
Well, her and the other girl could set up like a lemonade stand together, and maybe they could
decolonize soil.
Right. That would be good.
In academia.
Very good.
All right.
Good majors.
All right. Stupid Democrat tricks.
Yes.
Mayor Michelle Wu hires a mariachi band to celebrate diversity.
Yes. This is racist in the same way that it's racist when the left says, if you deport Mexicans, who's going to clean the toilets? It's that
Or Jill Biden saying you're as diverse as all of the breakfast tacos in Texas.
Right. It's like that soft racism that you don't, they obviously
that they don't know. They don't
realize.
see it.
Right.
Well, because they don't think that they can be racist. They don't think that they could do something that the left, like they can't be, you're not being racist to us because you're hiring a mariachi band to talk about immigration or something.
Right.
But let me share this.
It's really good. This is good.
Attorney General asked for a response by today. So here it is. Here is our response. Hoo-hoo-ya. Hoo-hoo-ya.
What are they doing?
That's a note.
That is an actual person singing. That's good.
And it is. I even feel like that's slightly racist. Like bring in the mariachi band and have everybody sing, ay, 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 ay.
Yeah. It's totally racist.
Let me have a taco.
But they don't really. Yeah.
It's like,
un breakfast taco. Yeah.
All right. Hey, man, we've made it all the way to pet peeves, dude.
Oh, nice. Good.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
All right, go ahead.
My pet peeve of the week, and I saw him do it, is Trump saying, have you ever heard of a thing called, he's like, You ever heard of a
He
thing
does that a
called
lot.
this? And it's always something that you've heard of, and you'll have a point to make after this. But he just did it with the freaking Atlantic Ocean. He was talking about
Right.
Europe needing to take care of the Ukraine problem more than the United States because there's a thing called an ocean. Have you ever heard
Have you
of
ever
it?
heard of a thing called an
Have you ever
ocean?
heard of the
Little
thing called the
ocean?
Atlantic Ocean?
I think it's almost just like him being a smartass. I don't know.
Do you think he does that just to troll the media? Like,
Yes,
he knows that they hate that and that they want
Yes.
to make fun of that?
Because they tell him which things he does piss them off, and he endlessly watches the media, and so then he knows what pisses them off, and then he does that thing more. So yes, I think he is trolling with that, but
Right.
I do hear him say that all the time.
All right,
So that's a
what's
good
your
one. All right,
what's
I
your
got
pet peeve?
one that I didn't even tell you, and that is the and I'll get to the email folder in 1 second because that's pissing me off. But the whole concept, the whole culture of holding the door for someone has gotten so out of hand. Can we make a rule where if you're walking up, like let's say you're walking up to the 7-Eleven and there's a person in front of you and they're like 5 feet in front of you, a nice thing is when they get to the door, they open it, they hold it for you, and you take 1, 2 steps, boom, you're there, you walk in. That was a nice gesture. What I'm seeing is a guy will hold the door. I'm 30 feet away, like out in the parking lot. And I see, this just happened to me. The guy is standing there holding the door for me. And now I feel obligated. I have to like jog up there because this guy is waiting. Can we make a rule that if the person is more than like 3 steps from the door, we're not going to hold it? Just go in, deal with yourself. I don't know if this is because I look like an old person that people are holding.
Yeah,
but
you look
I'm
like maybe you
noticing
can't open the door yourself.
I can't open the
too
door
weak.
for myself. Like I could be too weak. Please stop holding the door when I'm all the way out in the parking lot, because then I feel obligated to run to the door. So just take care of yourself. I'll get my own door, and we'll both go on about our way. And then my other pet peeve is not AOL, but
Okay, you get
Apple.
2. Okay.
Apple changed their email, and it used to be that all your emails would come into the email that you had connected to your phone, and then the little mail icon on the home screen of your phone, there would be a number there. It would say like 20 or 30, and then you would know there were 30 new emails. You'd go, most of them were junk. You zip through them, delete them, and you see the ones you want, and boom, you're good to go. Now, Apple has like 4 different categories of
And
email.
they put them in the
Like,
categories for
and
you.
that they think it is, but it's
Right.
usually wrong. A lot of times it'll get put into a junk mail thing when it's not junk mail, and you wind up missing a lot of emails. Plus, it never shows the little number on the mail icon anymore. So it's a larger problem. Tech companies, stop changing things just for the sake of changing them. Just leave things alone. Certain things we've perfected.
Okay.
I think we've perfected email.
Well,
just
we
leave
have
it alone.
we have a podcast there, Boomer, so we can talk to them about not annoying us
Right.
with
Yes.
with
So
their
please stop
technology.
changing things.
All right.
Please.
All right.
All right.
That's going to be almost it, but we're going to do something a little different at the end of the show here. I'm going to play the funk version of an AC/DC song. I love
Okay.
it when they mash stuff up and they make a new version. So we're going to do something a little different today, and we're going to take you out with the question, what if AC/DC was a funk band? And this guy's
Okay.
got a cool little video on TikTok. And when we see stuff like this, we're going to try to end the show with it.
Yes.
You can listen
This
to the
is
whole
very
song
good.
if you want to, but it's a very cool version of AC/DC. I think it's Back in Black.
I think it's You Shook Me All Night Long.
You Shook Me All. That's right. It's You Shook Me All Night Long. But hey, don't forget to subscribe, because we're going to have lots of shorts up there. You're going to want to watch some of us at the doctor's office while you're sitting there waiting for your colonoscopy.
Right.
So we're just going to leave you with AC/DC.
My friend just got a colonoscopy. Shout out Santana.
Like we needed to know that, Bob. Yeah. Shout out to who? Don't say it. Don't call the poor guy out.
That's true.
What is
Never
wrong
mind.
with you?
Sorry.
Jeez, Katie Couric. All right. Here's AC/DC as a funk band. We'll say goodbye for the week.
That's it for this episode of Barrett and Baxa Media Schmedia. Like, subscribe, and do all that other stuff podcasts want you to do. Become one of the chosen few, the in crowd. You know, the cool kids. The ones who were passed out on Barrett's pool deck long after the party ended.
You can say I love you like you used to.